Good afternoon. My name is Scott McCutcheon of Sovereign Studios. Welcome to episode 21 of my Yamaha Virago Cafe Racer project. If you're just tuning in, we just finished up the gas tank and everything, but today is going to be a really fun day because I got the exhaust in. So first I'll tell you a little bit about how I bought this and how I got around to choosing what exhaust I thought was going to work. So if you're familiar with the OEM Virago, you know that the OEM Virago had basically these exhaust bits here. But this is the rear exhaust pipe, and this was the front. And they just mounted on the side of the bike. Basically, the rear exhaust was actually pretty unique, I think, for a motorcycle design, in that it basically actually fed itself through the frame. It was attached to the back of the head there, and actually fed through the frame, and then through the swing arm, and then would come out underneath here and mount into the muffler, which I thought was pretty unique, right? And then the other pipe basically came out the front down here. This pipe, right? It basically came out the front there, made its way down here, and then out to the rest of the muffler. We're obviously not going to use the muffler. I threw that thing away a long time ago. But, I went looking for a better exhaust on the internet and came across something pretty unique that I started seeing a few other bikes use. Which is a exhaust kit from Mad Exhaust. Mad Exhaust is it's a guy named Dan out of where is he at? The Netherlands, I think, which is pretty cool. When I got on his website, I contacted him, and turns out he didn't want, his website claims he doesn't ship to the United States, which I was a little kind of annoyed with, because what he was making was awesome. So he was making something really unique for the Yamaha Virago, and the fact is, not very many people are making exhausts for a 1980 some odd Yamaha Virago. Even though they are a popular bike to turn into a cafe racer like I'm doing, there's just not that many people making high quality exhaust for this thing. So you end up either having to make it yourself, or you find somebody who can make it. So when I found this guy, man, I was excited. So I'll post a pic of his site and a link in the description that you guys can go check it out. And it looks super cool, and the design sounds pretty good from what I can tell based on other videos that I've found on YouTube of people using this similar exhaust. So I shipped him $1,000, and he shipped me the exhaust. It was about $1,000. I wasn't particularly enthused with how I had to pay him. I couldn't just swipe my credit card, so I basically had to do a bank transfer, and it was a little sketchy because it's kind of I ended up using Xoom, Xoom, which is a PayPal service. I found them to do the bank transfer for me, and I figured that was probably the safest method that I could find online to do that. Unfortunately, it's still kind of you send this guy $1,000. He's in the Netherlands. It's a whole half a world away from where I'm at in Atlanta, Georgia. And he it's kind of if he doesn't deliver, then well, I just lost $1,000, and I don't know this guy. It's just some dude I found on the internet. But it looks like he does great work, so whatever. Let's give it a shot. And it looks like he came through, so I'm really excited to open this up. Okay, so before we get started, you should know that when I went and bought this looked at this on the website, this basically was shipped appeared to be shipped in a wooden crate, with some straw filler, basically to keep this thing protected. That is not how it got shipped to me. Maybe he does that for customers in Europe, but he didn't do that for me. He put it in a cardboard box. My problem with shipping exhaust in cardboard box, and I've done this before, I've bought exhausts for my cars and my bikes in the past on numerous occasions, and basically everybody does this. It's actually super annoying, but they ship it in a cardboard box that inevitably gets destroyed in the mail, and that's appears what's happened here. But this came all the way from the Netherlands and is custom built, you know, so it's a little more unique than what we would have expected, as you can see. So it's not just another exhaust. It's different, it's beautiful, shows craftsmanship, and hopefully I am proud to own one. So we're about to open it up and see what happened. Obviously you can see that the United States Postal Service rewrapped this. I'm sure he shipped it through, you know, the Netherlands post office, I think, and whatever, you know. I don't know exactly where along the line it got damaged, but it looks like it did. So hopefully everything's still in place. Okay, and so at the very least, there was this, you know, a little bit of air packing there, bubble packing. We got the shredded cardboard here to keep it safe and sound. This looks like pipe 1. And the rest of the pipes here. It looks like that's it. I don't think there's any extra parts, no bolts or anything. So before we dig into the bubble wrap, I guess I should be clear, when I bought this exhaust, I don't expect that it will have like, you know, the clamps, I guess, I don't know what to call them, these things. My expectation is that the new exhaust does not come with these. So I'm going to expect that you will probably have to reuse them. I'm also going to expect that you're going to have to reuse these nuts, the exhaust nuts here. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Okay, well, let's take a look at what we paid for. Exhaust piece number 1 looks real sharp. I'm not sure what these are. Oh, okay. Cool. So he gave me some springs that I assume are to hold the exhaust pieces together. Luckily I have a few of these. And oh, look at that. So he actually did include new brackets. That is awesome. And you can see the quality of the welds. It definitely looks handmade, you know, but otherwise it looks pretty sharp. The matte exhaust logo there, that's cool. Cool. All right, that looks good. I'm excited. I'm not sure exactly which piece that is yet, but I guess we'll find out here in a bit. Let's do this one. Looks like the same deal. We got a new bracket there. I like how he, you know, so it's pretty obvious on the OEM one, kind of how they designed this. And this is something I guess you can do in the factory, but you know, it kind of looks like they did the same thing he did, where they added on an extra ring and just tacked it on in a couple places. So that's smart that's smart work. They did not do that for this bit, where that's actually molded, you know, kind of as a different, you know, it looks like they ground that into shape or molded it into shape, and then put this retainer on it, like this piece, like that's separate, you know. So that's something you could probably do in a factory setting, but not in a custom shop setting, you know. And then there's the hook for the spring. I'm not sure. I think this is the rear. Yeah, this is the rear. See how this is going to go? And it's going to be like that. Okay. And then this must be the front. And then the rest of the pipe, this is the collector, I guess. Yeah. Not bad. The collector, the pipe. There's the spring for the muffler itself. Now this obviously did not come with the muffler. And you'll want to clean that out. It's a little dirty there. That's okay. It looks like just metal. It'll get blown out. It's not a big deal. I don't know exactly where this bracket was for, but I assume it must be this. Just like that. Or up here. One or the other. I don't know. We'll figure out once it's all put together. Okay. That being said, I think everything here still looks good. It looks like all the pieces that I really need are here. And again, I didn't order this one with a muffler, so we'll have to find a muffler for it, you know, once we get a little bit further along with our build. But I think this is going to be sharp. I'm super excited to put these on. So let's see how they do. Okay, so like I said in the beginning of the video, you are going to need to reuse the the exhaust nuts. But you know, the guys at Mad Exhaust, or Dan from Mad Exhaust, you know, he gave me new connectors here, so I'm really thankful for that, because the old ones are, you know, not exactly in the best shape. Even though I'm sure they'll, you know, I mean, they're still good. You know, you paint them or whatever, hit them with the rust blast, they'd be fine. But we're not going to end up needing them, so. Alright, so this exhaust piece, oh, you know what? I think this might be the front, right? Kind of like that, yeah. And then this is the rear. It's going to be like that. Alright, a real tight fit, but it'll get there. And there's pretty much the first pipe. So let's get the second one in there. Okay, now it's worth noting right here that I don't know if this one's gonna work. It might. Okay. Barely. It's a tight fit. Okay, not bad. And we'll be sure to tighten these down in a bit. They're still a little loose right now, so that we can make sure that we get everything fitted properly before we tighten it down. And then finally, the collector. Okay, and it looks like it's going to be mounted here, which is fine. Let's pop that off. Oh man, that's going to be a good looking exhaust. Okay, go ahead and loosen this bolt, you know, that we use for this lower mounting bracket here. I assume you're going to want to leave the washer, the first washer, that's in between the actual bracket and the spacer, you know, because in the OEM configuration, these two pegs were used for the footrests, I think. And so there was a lot more space. Instead, we're using this custom spacer here to kind of, you know, space this out a little bit so I can get it back on the threads. But we'll go ahead and leave the first washer and put this in between the spacer and the washer. And that's an extremely tight fit. There we go. Make sure those fit snugly as far down as they can go. And then go ahead and put the spacer back in place and the nut finally. So we'll go ahead and tighten the other ones down here, or tighten them down finally, now that we're all in place. And I think we'll be good to go. Look at that exhaust, man. That is something else. Pretty damn sharp. I am impressed with how good that is. It looks super cool. So, in terms of the muffler, you know, we'll need a muffler on it to really finish out the exhaust bit, but I haven't decided what muffler I want to go with yet. I really like that it angles up right here, so I'll be able to get the muffler more or less right here, and hopefully it doesn't you know, interact with this bit too much, even though it looks like it might, depending on the size of the muffler I choose to go with. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think I want to say he said it was 50 millimeters that we can do. Oh, I'm on the wrong mode. Change that back to millimeters. Yeah, so maybe like 48 millimeter, or if we're doing external, I guess, yeah, 51 millimeter external. So 50 millimeter probably would work fine, I think. Either way, again, we'll cross that bridge, you know, when we decide to get there. There's like just enough clearance for that peg right there, looks like, just barely. But overall, man, I am extremely impressed. I think this is going to be money well spent. This is awesome. You know, I really like how this has turned out. Oh, don't forget these things. You're going to want to install these. And to get these on, I recommend using a, you know, tool, like a hook tool, maybe like that. And they're always kind of a pain to actually get on. Especially these, they're actually on the inside, which is going to make them much harder. I think these are the same, yeah. There we go, one down. That one was kind of hard to see, but hopefully you'll get a better look at this. Just like that. But yeah, so that's how that works. Make sure those spring clips get in place. And it's really just to hold the exhaust, you know, in place. Well, that's pretty much how that works. Not a bad deal. I think that's sharp. Okay, cool. Well, I am super happy with this matte exhaust bit for the Virago 750. Apparently he builds the same one for a few other bikes. I know he definitely builds these for the larger displacement Viragos. So if you have like a Virago 1000 or 1100 or whatever the hell it was, I think he builds the same one, and the same one might even fit, in all honesty. But otherwise, man, like, this is awesome. I am super impressed. I think this is one of the coolest bits of the bike. It's the one that a lot of people are going to be looking at all the time. And to have something this impressive and unique is really cool. So, man, wow, that's cool. You know, it fit together. It was easy to put together. You know, it came all the way from the Netherlands. Like, you know, this is amazing. It's gonna make, I think, really give the bike a. I think it's really gonna give the bike a very unique look. So, thanks for watching. You know, if you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe to my channel, maybe check my game out on Steam, Ethereal Legends. Tell me what you think about that. And yeah, thanks for watching.